Hey everyone, welcome to TheShow.live. It is just me today. Mitch Jackson is speaking in Utah, but I am so glad. I see we have lots of our friends joining us, and as you guys continue to jump in, go ahead and start populating our questions, because today we have first of our kind guest. We are bringing on Sara Moore and Midori Verity of Moxie Number 5. They were the first live streaming show, or maybe one of the first, to actually find a profitable brand through live streaming. So I'm really excited to find out from them. They're both friends of mine, excited to pick their brain on how they've done it and maybe some takeaways for those of us who have not done it yet, or maybe you're starting to live stream, you want to know how you can monetize. Sara and Midori are going to have some great tips, and their show's absolutely fantastic. So I can't wait for you to hear more about their show as well. But this is TheShow.live. I am one of your co-hosts, Jen Hoverstad. I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and of course, usually we have our West Coast representative, Mr. Mitch Jackson, who is a trial attorney in Orange County. And as I mentioned earlier, for those of you that just are joining us now, Mitch is speaking in Utah today, so he will not be able to join our show. But this is our new day and time, Wednesdays, 4 p.m., where we talk to influencers who are disrupting industries and influencing change, typically through some kind of social media or other futuristic marketing perspective and experiences. So excited today to talk to Sara Moore and Midori Verity. And we have some awesome people who have joined us. I see Mark Goeth, who is with one of our continuing sponsors, RightSide.co. RightSide, of course, provides that .live in the show.live. And the great thing about RightSide is that no longer are your domain names boring. You know, we're outside of .coms now. We don't need that anymore. Your right side of the domain should actually explain who you are. You should be able to do something fun with it. So RightSide does that for us with .live, but they also have cool things like .attorney, .ninja, my personal favorite, .pub. So some really cool ways you can express yourself. But of course, Mark is there in our chat, and you can talk with him about getting that right side of your domain. Of course, we also have Archon Mounts as one of our longtime sponsors. And Archon, we appreciate everything you do. Archon not only provides things like mobile device or mobile, what am I thinking of the word here? Mobile, something for you to stick on your dashboard. I have one too, but it allows you to put your phone in the car, hands-free. So hands-free devices for your car, for your phones. I also use Archon mounts for my lighting for live streaming. So I'm able to put my light in one of the mounts as well. So hey, Mark, using the selfie feature, you guys, use the selfie feature. Would love to see those of you that are there. I see we have Logan and Sara Midori who are already here. Nancy Merlin, awesome. Edward, welcome. So lots of people already in the room. But in order for me to actually see who you are, what you have going on today, maybe you have a great hair day, would love to see it in a selfie. The awesome thing about the Huzza platform is that you can use this selfie feature. There we go. Sara and Mark have already used it to take a picture of yourself, maybe wave hello to everyone, give us a thumbs up that you're having a good Wednesday. Just use that feature so we can actually see you. It's a unique thing that Huzza does for us, and we certainly appreciate it. There's Nick. There we go, spinning around in a chair. So for some of you, you're coming off of your lunch break. For others of you, like me on the East Coast, closing out the workday, it's going to be exciting, and we're going to do that with Sara and Midori. So you guys, let's go ahead. Sara and Midori, I'm going to give you a quick introduction, and I will go ahead and invite both of you into the broadcast. So Sara and Midori are called Moxie Number 5 now. That is their live streaming show where they talk every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. They talk about everything under the sun, Hollywood, business, relationships, really exciting things that are going on in their lives and in their guests' lives. Sara is known as the queen of social media, and Midori is the energizing marriage coach. So two people that you wouldn't necessarily think come together for a show, and they do it quite well. So hello, ladies. How are you?
Great.
Hi.
So excited to be here.
I'm excited to have both of you on here because, I think both of you have done a fantastic job, and I want to start it all the way back with your story of, how the two of you even came together, because like me and Mitch, you have some East Coast and West Coast going on there, some time differences, but really excited for the things that are even coming up in the future for your brand and for your show. You guys have a lot of fun stuff going on, but let's start from the beginning. Midori, I'll let you kick it off. How did you and Sara originally meet?
We met in San Francisco at what was the name of that convention? It was about live streaming. And Sara reached out looking for a roommate. I have never, ever, ever had a roommate other than in college. And so I thought, well, it might be fun. So I reached out to her. I thought she looked cute and safe and probably not an axe murderer. So we connected, and just instantly when we met, we hit it off. So that's the story.
It's very true. And I didn't really remember what she looked like. So there's this fancy girl in her high heels strolling through the hotel, and I'm sitting there in the lobby like, where's my roommate? Because she's the one that had the room. I couldn't even get in yet, so I was waiting on her. So it was really funny. But then she spoke, and I was like, oh, wow. Everything she says, she's just so wise and full of wisdom. I'm not kidding. She really is. I'm lucky that you love me as much as you do.
I love it. So that's awesome. So obviously that's where I met both of you as well at Summit Live. And tell us kind of about, so you hit it off that weekend. You guys were unsuspecting roommates. Everything worked out really well. Where did the idea come from to have a show stemming from two, both of you guys are in two different industries. So how did that part come together to do this show?
Well, Sara, that's you.
Yeah. So Midori always says that I came to her with this idea about starting a show. But I think we both knew inside of us that after that convention, we realized that we should be doing something more to build, to get attention. You guys just had Gary Vee on your show last week, and that's what he preaches. You've got to go where the attention is. The people with the attention are the ones that win. And it was important for me to build my business. I have a marketing agency called C Media. And I really just wanted to put my face out there more because people knew my face more than they knew my logo. We had a new logo redesign. My business was evolving, but everybody knew me. They bought from my company because of me. And so I saw huge value in it. But then my vision for it changed when me and Midori put our heads together, and it started to evolve into something way bigger than I ever imagined that it would be. You were with us, Jen, at the beginning. You were there. Is that where we met too?
Yes, it is. That's right. Yeah. Through the other Sara Moore, I met this Sara Moore. And of course, we obviously hit it off from there as well too. So that's awesome. Now, Midori, because a lot of people would see, of course, Sara's in the social media industry, like live streaming. Okay, that's standard. But here you are, a relationship coach, and you're coming to Summit Live, and you start kicking off a show with Sara Moore. What has been the response from maybe your industry, your peers, as far as what is a relationship coach doing in live streaming?
It's what I love about live streaming is it just makes it so simple and easy for people to get to know you. And, a platform like this where people can make comments and talk to you. So you get to hear what they're asking, you get to know them on a different level. So that has been the coolest part for me. Is I have another show called The Ultimate Relationship Show. So that's where I started as a podcast, as a blog. And now I'm doing live streaming, and I did pairs. I did all of it.
Yeah.
But it just allowed me to connect on a different level with so many potential clients and people in relationships that I got to understand them better, and they got to know me. Mm-hmm. So that's the value. That's why I love live streaming so much, is that the curve is so much quicker, and you can't hide. You can't fake things when you're live.
And I would like to say is for Midori, something very unique is we started doing this thing because she has some really great tidbits of advice for people that need relationships help. And so at the beginning of our show now, we do little tips, I'll share a social media tip, she'll share a relationship tip. And I had noticed we were kind of already doing that in our show before we actually said, let's start like being consistent with this. But you can just tell relationships really, truly have their ebbs and flows, right? So their highs and lows. And you can tell when the advice that she gives, if it's kind of a crappy day in the relationship world of Midori, she'll say, it's okay not to kiss your husband. Good night. You can go to bed mad. Okay. It's okay. And like but then there's the days where she'll say, these are cute little dates. And I'm like, oh, she must have had a cute date. Right. So she helps you, like she just is real and she's living it live. It's kind of cool to see.
I think that's such a good point because, too often people are like, well, live streaming doesn't apply to me. And Sara, exactly like you're saying, and exactly like Midori is doing, it's really helpful for all of us to see how we live our day-to-day lives, whether or not we think it's really interesting. And, people do find other people's lives fascinating. That's the whole point of reality TV shows, right? Like we just relate to things going on in other people's lives and we don't even realize it. So the show, let's talk more about, you guys came together, supposedly Sara was the one with the bright idea. We'll give her credit for sure. And, you guys come together though. And Sara, you mentioned where you have some things that like you start every show off with a social media tip. Midori starts with a relationship tip. How did you guys decide to kind of mesh these interests that you both have? And what did you really think? Were you thinking more like, let's start with what we know, or let's start with maybe what an audience wants? Where did you start with the planning phase of that? We
started at the beginning with why. And the crazy thing about this is people don't start things because they're not clear on their why. And we were not clear on our why at the very beginning, but we knew that we wanted to use this platform to not only help spread the word about our businesses and help it grow, but also to make a real impact and difference. And the one thing that Midori and I had in common was we wanted to help underprivileged children. We are both adopted. I don't know if you know that, but it took me a minute to figure that out. Midori, she was adopted as a baby, and I was older, so it was a little more, memorable for me and a bigger life change. But we knew that like there's this thing, if you can catch a child and help them, and we knew that we were both passionate about that. So it just, through brainstorming and actual execution, the vision started to come together. So that was probably one of my biggest takeaways is, you don't have to know for sure the why, but if you have the right intentions and know you want to do something good, just start because it will come together.
Yeah.
That is great advice. What about you, Midori? What kind of brought it together for you?
I had been doing this for a while. The year before that, I put on the California Women's Conference Virtual Summit. And it was just so cool to bring on these experts, like these people who are way bigger than me, and talk to them and learn from them and be able to share it. So I kind of had that bug already set. And so and then I had my own show. It wasn't live streaming like this, but when Sara came to me, I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's totally do it because I know the impact it can have. And we had so many similarities, so many commonalities. And so I understood the power that you can have by doing something like this. And so if we could take our own little worlds, our own little geniuses that we have and do something really positive and cool, life is short. Let's live it big and let's make an impact. And I think Sara and I are both on that same level that when we go, whenever that may be, I want people to remember me for something positive and good. So it just was a very easy platform for us to do it on.
That is awesome. And I think that's something quickly. I mean, both of you touching on the purpose-driven piece of this. It's something kind of a lot of people tend to overlook. Sara touching on the fact like, hey, just find a commonality and run with it. Like just get started with it. Find something you're passionate about and run with it. So that's really awesome to see and hear from both of you that you found a mutual passion, a mutual experience even, that you were able to come together over and thus begin this show and move it forward. So let's talk about like the early stages of the show, because you rebranded here over, I guess, the summer. So talk about kind of like the early part of the show when you were doing the show like more in the spring, early into summer. Talk about what the show was like then, and then maybe take us into that rebranding piece. Why did you decide to rebrand?
Yeah, I mean, when we first started, we weren't quite sure what we were doing. We're just like, let's do it. And 2 weeks after we met, we had a show. And so, yeah, we came up with the segments and we just kind of saw what stuck and what didn't seem to be as interesting. We just evolved as time went on. And then along the way, you know, we were both so busy. We both are very busy business people and we have kids, etc. And so Sara said to me, she's like, you know, Midori, maybe we just take the summer off. I'm like, if we take the summer off, it's never going to happen again. We're going to lose that momentum and that's it. And so anyway, that episode, which was the next day, we happened to have Summer Helene on. And Summer Helene is a executive president for California Pictures, which is part of Paramount Pictures. And she just happened to come on and we were chatting and I guess she liked us. And so she wanted to come on board with us and help us grow our channel and really create more of a show and, you know, everything that goes with it. So we're like, okay, yeah. We don't know what we're doing. We're not from, we're not from Hollywood or TV or anything. Yeah. We're just two girls. Yeah. And so she jumped on board and we just kind of flew with it. Don't you think, Sara? We just we're both kind of like that. I mean, that's why we started the show. Sure, that sounds good. Let's do it.
We did. And then she like even called for the shutdown. She was like, you know, we have to shut down before we relaunch. And we went through the whole pick the name. And it came to be, because we used to be Sara Moore and Midori Live, and now we are Moxie #5. And the evolution of that is the moment we heard it, we loved the classiness that it portrayed because, you know, that's kind of what we feel. We feel sexy, classy, you know, we want women and men to join our show and feel just like alive, you know, and, but most importantly to me, at least, you know, Midori might have a different answer. Moxie means bravery. And, you know, my background and my story is, you know, I was abandoned by my mother. I was adopted. I was divorced and I was abused by an ex-boyfriend after that, which was very, you know, traumatic. And then I had a child that was born with a disability. I had a son that was born with a kidney problem. I have been through the ringer. And then you come to Midori and she worked to build this entire business that was super successful and came to a moment in her life where she's like, this isn't purposeful for me. And our audience just relates to us in our stories. Like, we can love on them, embrace them, challenge them because we've really walked in a lot of their shoes. And there's just some sort of bravery that Midori took when she changed her life career that, you know, I took as I tried to find these different ways to take care of my kids and, you know, just live a healthy life after everything I went through. And it's bravery. That's what the Moxie #5 show is. It's a place for brave people to come and have an outlet. Because Jen, you're a super mom. I watch you. You are working. You're doing yoga in the morning. You're running to these community meetings. Like, and there's just a place where you have to have an outlet and to laugh and to go to a place where you're free to be brave and to share those things and to feel inspired and get a good kick out of life. And that's what we want. That's what we're honing in to bring to the world is Moxie, bravery.
And I think that's so true. I mean, your show truly does that. I mean, not only do you guys bring on some fascinating people, but you know, like how you guys are coming across right now, you know, your show it's fun, it smiles, it's not like you're never too serious with yourselves. And you guys can go, I put the link to their website here earlier, but I'll do it one more time to make sure you guys can go and see clips and also watch the show for yourself, because it really truly is exactly how you guys are describing. It's a great place to kind of like get away and to just be around friends and enjoy the conversations. So tell us a little bit, thinking of, and Midori, let's start with you, like your favorite guests. I mean, you guys have interviewed just some fascinating. And so in my mind, like the first two that come to mind is one, the NFL player you interviewed who was fantastic. And
Jerry Robinson.
And then the man that you interviewed that has an open relationship with his wife. I mean, we have two very different like cast of characters here going on.
Yes.
So Midori, who's been your favorite guest, or maybe the person you've kind of learned the most from?
Oh my God. I don't know that I could say there's a favorite guest, because each person that we bring on, there's some kind of special something about them. And okay, so for instance, the gentleman that you're talking about, the one who is in an open,
Mr. Lucario.
What was it? Mr.
Lucario.
Lucario. Yeah, Mr. Lucario. You know, I'm a marriage coach, so I don't promote open relationships because in general they don't work. But I really listened to him and listened to what he had to say. And what I've noticed from doing this, you know, through all the different shows that I do, is that usually someone has something to teach you that you never thought, or they give you a new perspective on the way that you think, and they open up your mind. So there isn't a right or wrong most of the time. It's somewhere in the middle, and we all have our own beliefs. But that's been the coolest thing with the show. And just kind of, I mean, Sara and I, we're not really afraid to bring anyone on.
No,
I mean, really? I aren't. So we bring on some crazy people, and it's fun.
Okay, honestly, okay, let's just be honest here. Okay, I am afraid to bring these people on, but Midori is not, because my mother is watching this stuff, and my mom would not approve. Okay, now she doesn't talk to me about it. We don't mention it. It's this thing that I know she hears, I know she sees, but you know, I have to like have the mom filter on because I don't want my mom, you know, like, I don't know. I'm like still scared of my mom. I'm 29 years old. Still scared of her. So, yeah, I think I am afraid. But again, Midori's the brave, more eccentric, and will, come on, let's do this. We're going to talk to him about whatever. And I'm like, okay. So,
but you roll with it every time, no matter. We've talked about porn stars. We've talked about it all. And Sara she'll have that wide eye look at first, and then she just rolls with it. And it's awesome. It's so much fun.
So Sara, then what have you learned, or who's kind of been a memorable guest for you through some of these uncomfortable conversations?
So you're making me really work my memory. And again, for me,
you've had a lot of guests.
Yeah, we're ending our workday here on the East Coast, so our brain isn't as fresh as Midori's. I feel like one of my favorite guests was, gosh.
We've had so many. We had Chris Miles, the financial guy. We had
Jon. You know what I really was memorable for me? This is funny. This is really not funny. It's kind of silly, but our very first guest was Jerry Robinson, right? But what I loved about him was his laugh. He was so funny. Like, his laugh just made you want to laugh. He had that kind of, you know. And those are the things that really stick out to me. Gosh, you know what? I really liked Brad Davidson. He's really smart. He's a great author. He's got an amazing book, The Stark Naked 21-Day Metabolic Cleanse, which is awesome. And I do it and I practice it and I live that. I highly recommend it. But I don't get paid for saying that either. But yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. Chris Drubb was on our show. He's one of my
favorites. Okay, there we go. Chris Drubb was also on this show, so have some common guests there, which is awesome. And Chris does make a fantastic guest.
Jen Hoverstad.
I was on like in the early days.
One of the top.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. That does seem like forever ago, but that was yeah. Like I said, I love your show. It's so much fun. You guys that are just joining us, or who maybe came in after Sara and Midori came on the air, these are the ladies of Moxie number 5, which is a live streaming show on Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. They talk about literally everything, as you can tell, from relationships to business and everything in between. So for those of you that would like to ask them a question, if you're new to Huzza, you can actually ask questions in the Q&A tab, which is right up there beside the selfies tab, or you can let me know that you'd like to be invited into the broadcast, and I will be happy to invite you in. If you're on mobile, unfortunately, Huzza does not yet support mobile streaming, but if you're on your desktop and you want to pop in, we'd love for you to come in, ask a question, and say hello, and I will be happy to invite anyone in who's in the room right now to come in and join us. So All right, so ladies, so this summer you connected with the Hollywood producer, you rebranded to Moxie number 5, and with that rebrand came some other exciting things. So tell us, and I do not have my personal bottle handy, but tell us about that rebrand and some of the products and other things that came along with it.
Yeah, we have our own wine. Who would have thought? We have our own Moxie number 5 wine. I happen to live in wine country. And so, when you were born and raised here, you have a few people that you know who can help you out. So my really, really good friend, Dennis De La Montagne, hooked us up with his wine. And so he slapped on our label. It's a beautiful Pinot from the Russian River Valley. And so that was the beginning of our branding of, really actually even having a product that represented who we were. But the beauty of it, we were talking about it earlier, is that for each sale of that bottle, we donate $5 to a group that's for supporting children at risk. So it's just very, very cool. So that's just kind of the start of our product, I guess.
So the start. So it sounds like maybe you have some plans for some other things.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you monetize a brand, and that's the business of it. And we talk about that a little bit on the show. We probably don't touch on it as much as we should, because I think our audience is interested in it. But, and Jen and Mitch, we've had these conversations about, how do we monetize our brand and what does that look like? And honestly, we're the ones defining that. This is a revolutionary time in the internet marketing space. And it's really fun to dabble in and to try out new ways to monetize something that you're really enjoying and having fun at.
That's a good point. So here's kind of the question that I can see maybe forming in some people's minds, because we have a room full of people here that we recognize from previous live streaming platforms. We've all been kind of on camera together at one point or another. I can see people saying, okay, I have a show. It's been going on for a while, and they just got a really lucky break by someone happening to be in the room. I don't think that'll happen for me. What kind of advice would you give someone like that who's maybe a little pessimistic that break won't come?
Well, I think we weren't ever looking for it, and I don't think that's what you need. And Sara and I are both, we are such business people. We're always doing research and finding out more, but you can do a lot of the stuff on your own. If you want to have your show distributed through different, through Amazon or ABC or whatever, there's ways to do it. You don't have to be discovered. And then also for your brand, you just have to you got to follow your regular business principles. What do you represent? What are you about? Who's your avatar? Who's your target audience? And you just have to be very clear about it, and then make your blueprint of your business. What do you want? And then you go after it. It's just like that. For us, go ahead. But for us, I think that our thing was, we were never shooting to make the show into some big financial gain. I think it was more, one, we just wanted to play together and have fun. Yeah. That was probably the biggest inspiration. But number 2, to have a way for us to connect with our audience and grow our brands.
And that's the biggest part. And so, when Midori and I first came together, we were like, well, you're a relationship coach. I'm a social media. We have nothing in common except that we are really fun and we love each other. That was it. And then it occurred to me, like, you work on building relationships offline with people, and I help people build relationships online. And that's what it is you can see me over here. I'm trying to comment every chance I get when I'm not fully focused on this conversation, because these are my people. I love these people. That's the point of live streaming, is to love on the people that are taking time out of their day to sit here and watch you. Nancy, Nick, Logan. I'm seeing these people in faces that it's just amazing that they're spending time out of their day to come over here and hang out with us. I am loving on them. And that's where, the power of, I would rather have 3 people fully engaged with my brand than 300 people that don't want to engage or comment. So just start by building one relationship at a time. And it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, we've been doing this since February. We started on Facebook's birthday. So I think that's worth noting. So Facebook's birthday is also our anniversary now. So we'll be celebrating that. and Chris Drubb, and
we should get Mark Zuckerberg on our show for our 1-year anniversary. We should have Mark. I'll call him. We'll see.
That's brilliant.
Just call him up, Midori. Just call him up.
Celebrate
Tell him to bring the baby. Bring the family. Have a glass of wine.
I'll send wine
all around. There you go.
I forgot what he's saying. I didn't finish my point.
Shoot. Well, totally important.
I mean, the important part is you share a birthday with Facebook, and that is just that's going to lead to so many, opportunities and successful things for you guys. So I think that's for sure. But no, Sarah, I think you're making a great point though about building relationships and just recognizing the fact that people do take time out of their day to watch, whether it's this show right now or your show tomorrow, whatever the case may be. People take time out to support each other, and that's really the amazing thing about this community. So I see, Nick, you have a question in our Q&A. Let me know, Nick, would you like to jump in and ask that question, or would you like me to ask it? And we can go from there. I do want to ask, though, you guys mentioned that, you started the show based on the commonality of you're both really dedicated to underprivileged youth. So as far as how that is evolving, obviously the wine now gives back to that as well. How else have you seen either the show or maybe the two of you, just kind of your powers combined, be able to give back to that community, or maybe find ideas for other ways that you can connect with that community?
Well, I mean, Midori and I are, looking at ways where how can we travel together to, build orphanages or not build, obviously, like we're not builders, but to be a part of helping, things like that. There's documentaries that are going on right now that are like helping. There's a documentary being filmed right now about building an orphanage, and if we can make it a way to like be a part of that, that's something we would definitely, try to make happen. And it will also bring exposure to the community. So I guess it's just as opportunities come up, and those opportunities come up, the more clear you are about what you want to do and what your mission is. So the more that we share on other shows and in other forms, what our mission really is, the more these opportunities will come to us. And so I think this is literally just the beginning.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else to add there, Midori?
Well, I think also we've met so many cool people that we've had on our show where we didn't even, we didn't really think anything about them other than they were going to come on and give us some tips. But then I know Sara has made contacts, and I have too. And it's helping to build, business relationships, but also they have connections to organizations that might help children. JB Crum is a friend of mine who I was on his show a while ago. So whether it's my show or their show, and that's what he does. He helps. That's his whole goal. Do you know JB Crum, Jen? I see you nodding your head.
I know the name. I don't know personally.
Yeah,
but he's amazing. He was an attorney. He's done, oh my God, he's been an attorney. He's been an accountant. He's been probably a doctor. I don't know. He's done everything, but he's just this powerhouse, and he's super cool. But, from that connection, you get inspired. You have new ways that you can work with each other. So whether it's in business or whether it's on a nonprofit, those are the kinds of things that we've been exposed to. Don't you think, Sarah? Like just these people that we meet and like, oh my gosh, yeah, let's do that. Let's go be a live streamer at that event and showcase this nonprofit event. And so it just kind of cool.
To that point, I think as our shows evolve and as live streaming becomes more prominent in the marketplace, we want to be true to where our hearts are being guided. And as those things evolve or become more clear, or we want to change the trajectory of where we're focusing, we'll communicate that. But I think that sometimes people feel when they say they're going to like commit to, supporting something, they feel like they have to stay with it forever. But at the end of the day, there's multiple things that really matter in this world, like domestic violence and how it needs to stop. And I think that if we, work to build a brand and a story that people relate with, it gives us a platform and a place to share and to do more social movements that end some of this stuff, and that's ultimately the goal. And just
Absolutely.
to be true to those, you know, let it evolve, let it change. Don't be afraid to change your mission, you know?
I think that's great. And that really drives home the point that you guys started out the conversation with finding what that why is, finding what your passion is, and then building on it from there, and recognizing that opportunities will just come up along the way. I love, Midori, the suggestion how, you know, simply just having those guests and now connecting with those people, finding new opportunities from there. Such a great point. And I think that's something that's so often overlooked, you know, I'm sure by Sara, by your clients, but also by those of us in live streaming, where sometimes we're just thinking like, you know, what am I doing? Like, well, what am I getting out of this? We forget about those relationships that we're building and how valuable those, you know, genuine and authentic relationships can actually be over time as we continue to build them. So those are great points. Let's switch to some technical here. Nick is asking us, obviously we're on the Huzza platform right now, and I'm going to show you guys Nick's question. So he wants to know, is Moxie number 5 being broadcast on something other than Fire Talk right now? So give us an idea of how people can find the show and where you're broadcasting.
We, you know, Midori, you can answer this, but we use only Fire Talk, except for show promos. We use Facebook Live to kind of give updates. And then obviously we take that and put it through YouTube. You know, we take the replay and post it on YouTube. Is that right, Midori? That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Nick and I have talked, you know, which is the best platform? What should we be on? And this is the first time I've been on, I always say it wrong. Huzza?
No, you're not saying it wrong, because I watched the interview that you guys had with the 2 guys, and they're like, they asked them that question, how do you say it? And they're like, we don't really know. It's whatever you want to say.
But they did say that they're saying Huzza, but that there is no right or wrong answer. So, you know, I think whatever you want to call it, it's fine.
Pressure's off. Okay, that's good. But yeah, so we've talked about Huzza, we've talked about Fire Talk, we've talked about Google, you know, all this stuff. And so right now we're on Fire Talk. Each platform seems to have some of their pros and cons.
Sure.
And we're working through them, just like Blab. I think most of us met on, or we were part of Blab at one point, which, I miss Blab. But for now we're on Fire Talk. And
can
we'll see where we are.
Can we have a moment of silence for Blab? Okay.
Over. So over.
So you guys are getting just a taste of how their show operates, like right here. I love it. So fun. You never know what you can expect. I see we have people, look at there. Nancy is adding a selfie of the Blab bird. Chris and Nick are saying RIP Blab. Of course, that is where, for those of you that, it looks like most of you in the room right now, you were on Blab with us, so you remember those times as well. But you know what, we have to evolve and things like that. And I think fortunately, we've been here on this platform since July, so been very happy on Huzza, but it's always great to hear about other people's experiences and other platforms, and you know, just whatever works best for you and for your show and for your guests is very important. So tell us, give us a little insight, and you guys, if you would, feel free to continue to ask questions in Q&A. Again, I have to invite you into the broadcast if you want to jump in. Probably have another 10 minutes or so with Sara and Midori, so make sure that you are asking those questions before we close out the show, or make sure you let me know if you want to jump in before we close out the show. But give us an idea of what's coming up for you guys, like what's kind of in the pot, what's stirring, things that you can share, and what we can look forward to with your show, maybe some guests that are upcoming, or some new ideas and movements you have going on.
I have no idea.
Well, we have, you know, you're asking me to memorize what we have going on, but next week we have, we're all about wine. And so Sara and I are going to be together in Prescott, Arizona at...
Wait.
What?
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Why?
Well, that's okay. Okay.
Why?
Well, let me just interrupt you, okay?
Yes, for this week, tomorrow, mañana.
Did you know that this is National Neighbor Day? Like, you know, appreciate your neighbor day or something. I don't know.
But tomorrow is?
Yeah. So I
Okay.
am going to be baking up some treats for my neighbors, and I'm going to, deliver those. Now, I'm not going to do it live on the show, but, we are going to have a challenge on the show tomorrow about showing love to your neighbors.
Yes.
So that's going to be really fun. And I actually am really looking forward to that. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's actually going to be really fun.
Well, I forgot about that. And my neighbor loves Coors Light. So I'm going to go deliver a case of Coors Light to him.
That's
How cool is that?
Yeah, and I'll be on Facebook Live doing mine, and you need to do the same, Midori.
I should, yes.
Take two, one for you and one for him, and then you can sit there and enjoy one together.
And we can chat on he just built a new house behind me, so we can sit on his porch and drink Coors Light.
Is he the one that has the horse that you're always trying to give away?
No, that's my other neighbor. So yeah, and then we have a great guest on tomorrow. She's going to talk about happiness, and she is a happiness expert, and she talks about really building it from the inside out, and what she went through. But so many of us think, yeah, of course we want to be happy, right?
Yeah.
We all want to be happy. But she talks about how to really kind of change your mindset so that you are living happy every day with what you have.
Yeah.
And stop trying to chase after that golden ticket or, that better job or whatever it is. But she really talks about just kind of, hey, take a break, stop where you are and look and appreciate where you are. But yeah, so she's awesome. She is internationally known. She's awesome. So that's for tomorrow. But then next week, I want to get back to the wine.
Okay.
Let's be honest. We love
the
wine.
important things.
The important things. So next week we're going to Prescott Crush, which is a wine bar in Arizona. And we're going to be streaming live. We're going to have our show live from there.
No, I'm literally going to be there. So everybody that doesn't
also.
know, which I think everybody here might know, I'm in Ohio. So Midori and Midori's in California. So we're meeting in Arizona next week. It's going to be
Sounds like the
so
perfect
fun.
place to meet.
It's going to be fun. Well, we're going for another reason, not just for wine. We're not that.
We are going for
we
another
love
reason,
wine, but we're not
going to
that.
tell you what it's for.
Oh, is it like a top secret meeting mission kind of thing?
Dun, 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 dun.
The other thing you want to come to our show for, because we give away free 30-minute nooners every episode. So
Did you know that's like a bad word?
Sarah
like-
didn't.
Not a bad
It's
word.
not a bad word. A 30-minute. Here, I'll type it in. 30-minute nooner. You guys can look that up.
You know what that is?
Nancy. I do not. I mean, I know what Urban Dictionary would say that is, but
That's what it is, and that's what we're giving away. Except it's probably not the definition that you would find in the Urban Dictionary, but that's
okay.
Kind of. It is a.
Nick.
I can't tell you.
So we had this mysterious and possibly scandalous giveaway on the show. We have a top secret mission to Arizona next week. I mean, if there's any reason to watch your show, my goodness, there's two reasons right there where it's you piqued my interest for sure. So for you guys that have not seen Moxie number 5, I mean, there you go. The next 2 weeks should be interesting.
I think Moxie also means scandalous.
Okay.
That's for you.
Scandalous and brave.
Yes.
Sorry, Mom.
Nick says he'll be in Arizona next week as well. So I don't know if Nick's part of your secret mission, but
we need recruiters. I'll snap you, Nick. I'll send you a snap. I just got one from you. Knack just Snapchatted me. Nick.
Knack?
I meant to say Nick.
Yeah. So anyway, we have all kinds of cool people coming up. We talk a lot about creating a thriving lifestyle and an elevated lifestyle. So what our goal is by the end of the show, that you're laughing, you're having fun, you're in a good mood, but also you have some takeaways in your pocket.
There you go.
Help you in your career or wherever you are, but just some tips to help you get where you want to go.
Hey,
hello, Nick.
Love that.
Hi,
Nick.
how are you?
Let's all take a picture real quick.
Yeah, good idea.
We've got a lot of Snapchat
brilliant.
friends. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 3, 2,
Are we
2.
snapping this?
For snapping.
I snapped it.
I got it.
All right. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Nick, welcome to the show. Nick is our weekly, I would say you're our weekly guest co-host or guest question asker. Nick comes in
Yes,
every
question
week.
asker, probably.
He is the biggest supporter of the Show.live, and we certainly appreciate it. So Nick, thanks for being here again this week. And what question do you have for Sara Midori?
Well, I will say before I ask my question that I won't be in Arizona, and Nancy Maryland figured it out. When I heard this 30-minute nooner kind of giveaway, I was like, well, shoot, I'm coming,
Oh, dude, I'll be there. I can catch a flight.
I will not actually be there, but Nancy did catch it. So,
Oh Lord.
what day and time are you got? Because I feel like I'm getting notifications for Moxie number 5 at different days and times right now.
Oh.
Are you guys changing it up or no?
We used to be on, I think what's happening, Nick, 'cause, we've known you for a while. We were on in the afternoons at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Now it is always at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 Eastern. I think that's why it's been a little confusing.
Could have been.
Announced it bigger.
Could have been. So,
so
it's now 6 Pacific.
Yeah.
Excellent. And what are the plans to take it bigger? Anything that's coming in the near future on that you can share?
Well, so and we haven't mentioned this much, but we have a co-host that is with us now. Her name is Cindy Bragg. She is an entertainer.
She's an entertainer and a comedian and a producer.
But like a clean one, Yeah. So I just want to be clear. But she's really funny. She has a comedy show and she does it like at conferences and stuff. She'll like come dress up and she is kind of like an MC and gets the crowd going. Okay. She's so clever, so fun. She's brought a whole new dynamic to our show. She's just bright. And excellent. I don't know, she really knows how to dance. So
there's now 3 hosts on the show?
Yes.
There are.
Yeah, we love Cindy. She's so much fun. It was her. The 30-minute nooner was really her inspiration. So
it was, it was
her idea.
She came up with it.
So we're like, we love that. Let's do a 30-minute nooner.
Logan even says she's hilarious. Yeah, awesome. She really is. She's very clever.
But you know what she does? So she's a show producer on TLC and Discovery Channel. She helps produce, have you guys seen this? Toddlers and Tiaras.
Okay.
She does that.
So you never know. We might be in Tiaras next week. You never know.
Never know.
And are there one last question, and then I'll let Jen take over, and I'll listen on the side. But are there any really cool guests coming up on the show? Because you guys have a wide variety of guests. Anybody that you can share with us?
Yeah, we have, so next week we have a wine expert coming. We have 2 experts coming on. So we have a wine expert. I get stage fright, and so I can't remember her name right now. So we have her coming on. She's awesome. And then we also have a lady coming on next week who is, I absolutely love this lady, but she is going to talk to us about media and how to use live stream, not live stream, but how to use online TV to grow your brand. She has done a lot of that. She is a financial expert, but now she has partnered with somebody and they are getting their show produced, and I think they're about to get it distributed. So she's going to be talking about that a little bit more. So, very cool. That's something that because I know all of us are live streamers. That is something that you can potentially do, is take your show and get it distributed and get more exposure.
And I don't know if you mentioned this or if we still have him lined up, but he wasn't able to get on last week. But he's the guy that was in the New York subway, and he set up a table and he put like, I don't know, some sign, and people would sit dates, right?
It was called
Free Date.
No, it was called Subway Date or Date something. But he would play Connect 4. With them.
And you can just sit down at the table and date him, like in the middle of the subway, have a date with him.
It was super cool.
He like went viral and everything.
Wow, no, I hadn't heard of that. That's awesome.
So he couldn't get on last week, but we're trying to rebook him to get him on. So if he can get in this week or next, he'll be on too. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm going to go
Nick,
back to watching from the side.
Bye, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Bye, ladies.
Have a good
one. You
are
awesome.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right. Well, that's great. So any last questions or anyone else that wants to pop in, go ahead and let us know now. I know Nancy asked in the Q&A, and for those of you that didn't catch it at the very beginning, Mitch is fine. He is on a planned trip to Utah where he is speaking at an event out there. So unfortunately, the flight schedule just did not allow him to be on live with us today. But I knew, Mitch was like, well, you could always bring a co-host in. But I was like, I'm going to have Sara and Midori on. I'm really not worried about a co-host because, you guys, I don't think I've laughed more on the show.live than I have today. Like this.
And we we know each other. There's so much chemistry here. It's ridiculous. And we could go on for another 2 hours and have the times of our lives, So it's not like there's anything short of something to talk about because we can talk about it.
That is so true. That's so true. And I love too the energy you guys bring. And as I've already said this before, but if you haven't caught their show, I mean, this is how you are on your show. Like, it's not like, this is how you are one day and then tomorrow you're going to be completely different at, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Like, this is how you are on the show. This is how you interact, and your friendship really comes across so well on the camera. So as people, maybe they're kind of chewing on the things that you've talked about today. Obviously, you've given so much incredible advice for live streamers, especially for people with shows or maybe who are thinking about producing some of that content themselves. Maybe why don't we end with each of you providing kind of like one takeaway so far with your experience with live streaming, and what you would provide to kind of that person who's either live streaming already or is looking to get into live streaming. What kind of takeaway would you provide based on your experiences? And Midori, we'll start with you.
I would just say do it. Just do. If you're thinking of doing it, you want to do it, and you're kind of not sure. I've seen people just totally change the way they look, the way that they act, their confidence from just getting on and just starting. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that? It's amazing. It's so cool. So just do it. For those of you who've been doing it for a while and you're kind of questioning, it's a lot of work. I don't know that I'm getting connected with the right people. I was just connect with others. So go watch other people's shows. Talk with them, come on to this show and, make comments and just connect. Right. Because I see a lot of names here and I feel like there are friends, Mark and Chris and of course, Nick and Logan we love, but you just start building this up and it's really cool. And we all kind of work together, don't you think? And we're all in the same boat and we all are professional. So that's one thing that I'm really hoping to see in the industry is that we start getting more and more of these kind of tailored, professionally structured shows versus some of these people that are, just talking. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Sarah, what about you? Would be your takeaway?
I think it's just, there's power in community. And, when you come to the live streaming community, we are here for you. We're early adopters and we're moving mountains. But we can't do it on our own, and we really need your help. We need more people to join Huzza. We need more people to join Fire Talk. We need our audiences to grow, and we need to unite. And, we have 2 different platforms. We have Fire Talk and Huzza, people coming together right here in this place where our followers are coming together. There's so much power in that. And what's happening in this moment is going to vibrate for months to come. There's going to be vibrations that we will still feel from this show. And so don't take that lightly. Really appreciate the power of this community because it is one of the strongest communities I've ever been a part of. Every person in this room right now that's commenting here, and you too, Jen, you guys are like family to me. And I had Chris Strub come out. I have only met him a couple times. We're friends on Snapchat. And he came out, he met my soccer team. I coach soccer. He met my soccer team. And I took him to Kings Island, and that's what it's just, we're family. And I would do anything for you guys. And I know the same reigns for many of the people that are here in the room with us today. And don't take that for granted and really nurture the relationships that you have.
That's such a great point. And to confirm what Sarah said, I know as I was getting my own business started, Sarah had been a tremendous support for me as well, always willing to kind of answer questions and provide her own advice and insight and experience as an entrepreneur herself. So Sarah is incredibly supportive. Midori, I know, having seen the way the two of you work together in our interactions as well, Midori, absolutely the same way. And so certainly appreciate what you guys are bringing to the community, both in your respective fields and your respective expertise. And I hope you had Chris Strub give your soccer team a pep talk. I kind of feel like I can visualize Chris Strub getting the kids really excited and pumped up to play soccer. Was that part of the deal?
Yeah, so I messaged my team before and I was like, there's a famous Snapchat person coming to our game today. He's my friend. and he's available for autographs after the game, And so the kids were like, awestruck. They thought it was so cool. And we got a group picture, and it was just such a delight. It just is so, I can't even explain it. When we were at that live streaming conference in San Francisco, I can't even remember where I've been. I've been to California so many times. But, who said it? Brian Fanzo. He said, I make connections online through this live streaming where we skip the handshake, we go in for the hug.
Right.
And that's what we are. That is this community. We are huggers. We are lovers. We are family. And it's so awesome. I love it.
Yeah. But
Jen, we have to shout out to you too, because when you were asking about highlights from our show, when you were on, you educated us on beer. Do you remember this? And do you remember I was almost holding a cake?
Yes.
It was so I think
it was well before lunch your time. It was
10 a.m. And I had to go grab a beer really quick, and we didn't have any at home, and all they had were those giant ones. And you called me out on it.
You did.
I thought it was awesome. I mean, like drinking mid-morning, there is nothing wrong with that in my book.
Yes, and same with you, Jen. Like when I had questions about, organizing my team and how to put community managers, because, you come from this different, a more corporate world of marketing. And,
right.
I'm building from the ground up. You were able to answer some really great questions for me. And so there's so much knowledge that each one of us has that at some point in time we're going to need. And we're happy to share that with each other. It's really cool.
I completely agree. Well, you're very welcome. So as we close out the show, I know Midori we've sent the link to Moxie number 5. I see Sarah's put the Facebook link in there. I know Midori put the Fire Talk link in there, but let people know how they can contact each of you individually in case maybe they have some other questions. Sarah, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, I'm on Twitter, Sarah D. Moore. There's no dashes or anything. So Twitter/Sarah D. Moore. And then Instagram at Queen of Social Media, all spelled out.
Excellent. Midori, what about you?
And I'm pretty much at Midori Verity for everything. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I think I have a Pinterest one, but don't look for me there.
Is it Midori Verity or Midori A Verity?
Just Midori Verity. I got it changed. So now it's all consistent.
Nice.
Yeah. Good.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both for being on the show today, and thank you for being fantastic co-hosts with me as well. I've really appreciated and enjoyed our conversation. And as we close out today, you guys, for those of you that are joining the show.live every week, next week, we have another awesome woman, Vicki Fitch, who is a direct sales expert, author, speaker, business consultant. I mean, yeah, she's fantastic. So yeah, she'll be a great person for you guys to join us next week with. But Sarah and Midori, thank you so much for being on the show. And everybody, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, join Moxie number 5 on Fire Talk for their show. Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, Jen, for a wonderful show. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.